Alright, folks, and welcome back to Downstage Gaming. I am your host, Josh, and this is part 11 of our Let's Play of The Letter. When we last left off, we had continued just sort of having our marriage with Luke fall apart in a way that I'm pretty okay with. And then as we're sort of, we were doing an interview slash tour with a photographer in charge of some luxury magazine, who just happened to be Mr. Zach, who we already have met with Isabella. And these two really hit it off quite a bit. He did take a picture of us with the girl from the ring. That kind of spooked him out, but other than that, things are going pretty well between these two. So, the photo shoot went by a breeze. And somewhere along the way, as we talk and laugh, I'd find myself getting a bit too close without realizing. He'll give me this strange look until I back off, and he'll go back to asking questions after I agreed to do his little interview. And it's just odd. Well, no. Me being friendly isn't that odd. That is how I am. Well, I'm not sure about that one, my dear. Zachary is the one that's being odd. But anyone else would absolutely welcome the extra attention I give them. I mean, have you looked at me? He, on the other hand, looks almost flustered about it. He should be used to different personalities by now, having to deal with various people when he works. And if not, he needs to start. Probably nobody has shown him attention of this kind, but he's a big boy. He should be able to handle me. All it is a friendly touch here, a pretty smile there, a gentle swaying of the hips as I move around. Ma'am, this is someone who is providing a service to you. I'm not sure that this is inappropriate. Zachary grew and grew more red every time he noticed. Am I being mean as I find enjoyment in seeing him unravel? Perhaps. This went on during the interview, and beyond that. There's nothing wrong with what we're doing, right? Zachary and I are just having a playful, friendly chat while enjoying the outside view. At least that's how I see it.
I'm sorry, but I'm really getting distracted. Could you maybe stop doing that?
Okay, now, Hannah, this is your test. This is your good person test. Zach has asked you to stop. Stop? I'm not sure if oh good, I get to. Oh, I do. Okay, alright, listen. He asked us to stop, so I probably will pick stop. But I do want, again, I want this relationship with Luke to fall apart. And Zach is an option, you know? But he asked us to stop, so we're gonna stop.
I'll stop if it makes you uncomfortable, sweetie.
Yeah, see what he liked it. Alright, we're good. We're good. This is all good.
Sorry.
No, I should be the one apologizing. Why, you're a shy one, aren't you, big guy?
Please stop calling him big guy and big boy.
It's not that, but...
He gestures to the ring on my finger and lets the fact of the matter hang heavily between us. I mean, fair enough. Being told implicitly that I am too forward is not a common occurrence. I think I'm more stunned at the fact that he pointed it out rather than, well, being rejected. Not that anything is going to happen between us in the first place. It was just going to be some harmless flirting, right?
So, you've never had a girlfriend?
Where are you getting that
No.
from? Oh, well, okay.
No boyfriend either. You know, just in case you were gonna ask for that one next.
I find this hard to believe, Zach.
And you
are a
haven't even
catch.
had your first kiss?
Not a one, ma'am.
Do you want to have your first kiss today?
Hannah, he just asked you to stop. I can't help it. I really, really can't, and I'm going to apologize lots later. Surely by the catty smile on my face, it's obvious that I'm just pulling his leg, of course. The laugh I failed to contain certainly gives it away, if it still isn't obvious. I don't think you're understanding why he doesn't want you to do this. But still, he lights up in embarrassment, stammering and sputtering objections.
You're married, and this will be extremely unprofessional.
Right on both
I
counts,
never
Zach.
said I would kiss you, silly. Oh, Johans!
No, what? No. Don't call your butler. She's Hannah.
I mean, you know, Johans is a nice
That'll
guy.
be for the better. I don't think his husband would appreciate it if I made him kiss another man. I do not think he can hear us from here either. But it is hard to think you're not taken, Zachary.
Yeah, now we agree,
Why,
Hannah.
whoever becomes your girlfriend will be so lucky to have you. You can cook and take wonderful photographs.
And really, what else does one need in life?
Wonderful meals and wonderful memories.
I can play guitar too.
Oh.
You can? Oh my. Wonderful serenades as well then. Perhaps I can find a young lady who deserves a fine, strapping young gentleman like yourself.
Let's not get carried away. Besides, I gotta be going. It's getting late and I got someplace else to be.
A shame. I will be expecting you again soon, I hope. For a copy of my photographs, yes?
I wonder what he's off to do later. Perhaps we'll find out in his
Of
chapter.
course, I'll even deliver them personally. Just, you know, don't try to make me kiss your butler when I drop by.
Oh, but it's customary, dear. As fate would have it, the very moment the words leave his mouth, Johannes comes out of the house. Judging by the slight raise of his brows, he has heard only the tail end of the sentence.
There shall be no kissing of any butlers under this roof. Danke.
But you are not under a roof, are you, Hansi?
We're all having fun here. We're all having a good time. To my amusement, he takes a step back, safely placing him within the threshold of the foyer and under the roof of the house. And just as you see how good of a time we're having when Luke isn't here. Everyone's just, you know, in a good mood, joking around. And just as ever, he is quick to return with a sardonic reply.
I am now. As I was saying, madam, it's about time for supper. Will I be needing to set an extra place at the table?
Oh, what? No, I was just leaving, actually.
Oh,
so,
Zach.
you have a good night, Hana. And you too, Pansy.
I mean, you should probably have known not to
It
do
was
that,
nice to
Zach.
meet you, Zach, honey. You have a safe trip.
He nods, and the grin on his face as we say our goodbyes is the sweetest that I've ever seen. I linger, looking out for him with his relatively tiny bicycle, backpack. I'm sure she means tiny in comparison to him, but I really like the idea of Zach riding a bike for like a toddler. Backpack safely secured in the basket by the front, and suitcase hooked to the back. I watch as he went down the path to Ansem Village until he is nothing more than a blip in the horizon. I cannot help the small smile on my face as I go inside for supper. Oh, don't like this. Don't like anything about this place at nighttime. Entering the dining hall causes me so much confusion. It is... Oh, wait. Oh, hang on. We got a picture first, though. Is it of Zach? Oh, just a camera. Come on. I want to see something of Zach. It is dark. For a moment, I thought the electric work is not up to par. But that clearly is not the case, as every other room is bright with artificial light. Finding the light switch is a monumental task, considering the size and my unfamiliarity with the room. To make matters worse, the darkness grants the room a different atmosphere, eerie and frightening. It takes longer than I thought to find the switch, something that will have to be rectified later on. My skin starts to prickle, and there's the distinct feeling of being watched. It unsettles me, and only spurs me on in my search. And when I do open the lights, there is a hiss.
I'll turn the lights down.
Oh, good. Oh, good. That somehow this is worse than the Ring Girl being here. There at the end of the hall is my beloved husband with his face in one hand and a glass in the other. What is he drinking? Lime green Kool-Aid? Perhaps I can let it go if it's only one glass of wine. However, I can feel myself go livid after seeing the toxic green liquid gleam mockingly at me.
Luke, what? Are you drinking absinthe?
Oh, Jesus.
You know what the doctor said.
Oh my god.
Absinthe, Luke. Are you actively trying to kill yourself?
Oh.
Because if you are, we can just hit you with a bloody car.
Hannah.
Honeybee, Buttercup, not too loud, please. Besides, it's Lelouch, not too strong. Just hair of the dog that bit me. Helps with the hangover, dearest.
How?
You drank? When?
This morning, love. Don't be mad. I just needed a few drinks, having to deal with those simpletons.
You know who these
And
simpletons
maybe
are.
I had one too much. You don't see me whinging about you leaving me to handle them on my own.
Oh my god, you suck so
I had
much.
to attend the photo shoot and interview with Luxury Living. You know that. Let's not make this about me, Luke.
Despite how I usually want it.
This is about you and your drinking problem, and
Oh, I don't know, Hana, darling. What if my drinking problem, as you like to call it, is linked to you?
Oh no, it's pretty clear that you hate Hannah. No, that's
If we
clear.
think about it that way, this discussion is about you.
God, you suck so
That was
much.
pretty mean of you, leaving me alone to do all the work like that. You can't use the interview as an excuse either, honey. I was informed the moment your little interview was done.
And that was like 6 hours ago.
So, what was it then, What were you doing?
What's it gonna be? Should I tell the truth or tell a little lie? I mean, listen. Did Hannah behave a little inappropriately? Perhaps. But, for the most part, you know, hanging out with Zachary is not a crime. I was with Zachary.
I was talking with Zachary, the photographer for Luxury Living.
Oh, I'm surprised by that. I thought given some of his past stuff, he would actually like it for me telling the truth, but that's fine. Again, I want this relationship to fall apart. I have no reason to tell lies. It's not like I'm guilty of anything. But as Luke's expression turns, he makes me feel like I actually am to blame for something. He has a way of making me laid bare with just a look. That had really struck me when we first met years ago.
That giant Negro.
Oh, God!
You were having a secret meeting behind my back and it was with him?
I mean, I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but Jesus.
What are you implying?
I'm implying nothing.
Oh, you're implying something.
I'm just worried. You know better than to trust those media types, Buttercup.
God, you get worse with every sentence you
He must have
say.
been really friendly to occupy your time like that, but all he's looking for is his next big headline.
Yeah, that's pretty clear if you talk with him for more than 2 seconds.
He's a photographer for an interior design magazine.
Doesn't matter. You let one little thing slip, one wrong move, and it'll blow up in the telly in the morning. He'll go to his journalist friends to gossip and make a quick quid.
Yeah, God. It's so much worse knowing that that's like the exact opposite of who Zach is. His eyes were the first thing I noticed about him. They were like nature, the grass and the trees, wonderful and breathtaking. Now, as I look at him, they're nothing but the same shade of green as the bloody damn drink in his hand.
He was a perfect gentleman, Luke.
If anything, I was a little uncomfortable, shall
I
we
can't say
say.
the same for you as of recent.
Excuse me again? We're talking about you, Hannah.
No. I am pretty sure we were talking about you and your drinking problem, Luke, right?
Hangover forgotten during the course of this little spat, the man jumps to his feet and seizes. It looks like he is barely stopping himself from throwing the nearest thing he can find.
Oh, it is not a problem. I can stop whenever I want.
I mean, you can't say something that cliche.
And even if it was, I think you can very well stay out of it, as it only affects my own kidneys or liver or whatever the bloody hell that shite pollutes.
Do you understand what love is, Luke?
Whatever aftermath that occurs because of your little chit-chat with the Negro
Jesus.
affects the both of us, however.
Oh, you gotta stop.
Look, Luke. Nothing will happen. You have to relax. It was just a friendly chat.
I mean, not if I have anything to say about it.
Well, now I think I'm getting jealous.
Oh, yes.
Or I would be if it weren't for this damn headache.
Maybe you should drink more.
Maybe.
Supper is spent in silence, with nothing but the occasional sound of silverware. A grand feast has been served, well, grander than usual anyway, most likely due to Luke's complaints of stress. A platter of native oysters, ooh, I could go for some oysters, for starters, and tranche of turbot with purple sprouting broccoli, lemon, capers, and anchovy sauce for mains. To finish it all off, black tea and golden syrup sponge pudding with custard. But when our appetites are... I don't know why they, for every single food, they show like a, immaculate image of it, but I do like that. But when our appetites are appeased and the plates are cleared away, Luke stands, kisses me goodnight, and leaves me to stare at my half-empty cup. I'm surprised that he kissed me and that I let him. Lonely in the lull of night, I sit in a house too big and too empty, foreign and unwelcoming. Even with its warm tone and homely decor, it feels cold. There's no need for tears, however. I know I can go through this like every other obstacle I've faced before. This is a minor setback in what I hope will be a long and happy life. Not with Luke. To remind myself that this place is for Luke and for our future children fills me with a renewed vigor. I cannot believe you feel this way. Besides, it looks like someone is having a cry already. The wailing is far away and muffled, yet at the same time, it shakes me to my very core as I hear it. As if the suffering is just standing right beside me. Are we talking? Okay, at first I thought we were talking about Luke crying, but now I'm getting the feeling maybe not. Hearing it sends a chill down my spine and makes my skin prickle with goosebumps. Who is that? Oh no! Why are we doing this? So what's the picture? Okay. Why are we doing this? Curiosity sinks in as I follow the sorrowful sound into the kitchen. Do you not remember the dream you literally just had? And into the wine cellar hatch.
Hello? Is anybody down there?
I'm curious and concerned, but there's no way I'm going down into a dark and human underground. I'm not as enthusiastic as Luke, who considers himself quite the connoisseur. However, I also cannot bring myself to go to bed with this racket going on. If it is one of the household help, they will surely need some talking. After all, this wouldn't be the first time I've gone and found one of the maids sobbing their eyes out over one thing or another. As professional as our staff are, they are still human, and Luke is truly terrible to all of them. More often than not, it was either Johannes or I who'd calm them down, who'd help them figure out how to go on about things. Unfortunately, I'm not in high spirits right now, so I am not as wholly benevolent. I mean, okay. Call them out, right? Because, I mean, there's clearly some... Oh, gee, okay, alright. Phew, by accident. Okay. We open the hatch, there's something spooky in there, right? For sure. We call them out, you know, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Let's call them out. I knock 3 times. Waiting for any sort of reply yields me no results, and I've already touched the floor hatch far too many times than what I'd like. I take a deep breath before reaching out again to whoever's inside. I've learned from experience that people respond better to kindness than threats. Well, good for you, Hannah. Shouting angrily would not help in coaxing them out.
You, in the cellar, do come out. We don't want Luke waking up and finding you in there, do we?
Well, you'll get a lashing.
That man would go ballistic thinking someone was trying to steal his precious wine.
That's probably true. Still
You
nothing.
can have a good cry. Just not in there, yes? Why don't you come out here and we can have a cuppa and you can tell me all about whatever it is you're bawling about?
With how long I'm standing, however, I'm starting to think myself a fool. I did not want to acknowledge the other feeling I have, especially as the wailing took an eerie turn. The thought of being played with didn't sit too well with me, and I had to stop myself from getting too hot-headed as I try one more time.
Now you come out of there! That is an order from the lady of the house, do you hear me? Why, Iota?
I freeze as a hand clamps down on my shoulder. The dread I've been feeling all this time makes itself known as I kneel, unmoving, not even daring to breathe. I can feel my heart pounding against my chest, but the touch is gone as quickly as it had seized me. It is only Johannes I see when I look back.
Apologies, madam, for touching you like that. You were not responding to my voice, and you looked about ready to wake the whole mansion up.
Okay, so this was all in our head, or what?
I'm sorry. I was getting rather loud, wasn't I? But that crying woman in there, we must do something about her.
He grows silent for a moment and just looks concerned. At least I'd like to interpret it as concern, given how stoic our head butler usually is. Or rather, it must have been concern, as he takes off a glove and presses the back of his hand at my forehead before his worrisome inquiry.
I beg your pardon. What crying woman?
You know,
Are you feeling well?
the
madam?
famous crying woman,
In the
Johannes.
cellar. Can't you hear her?
Madam, Hannah, no one is down there.
Well, can we look together before I go to bed?
What?
Check for monsters.
The cellar is locked. Only Luke and I have duplicates of the keys.
Why don't I get one?
Nobody is down there.
I stare at him in disbelief. But when I listen once more, I hear no crying. Tugging at the hatch for good measure prove his words to be true, too. The thing won't budge unless I add a key, short of using power tools on it.
Perhaps it is time for you to go to bed, madam. You are simply tired and hearing things, a perfectly normal human experience. But if you are still experiencing auditory hallucinations in the morning, you are free to consult with me.
Are you a doctor? There's a cold feeling in the pit of my stomach as he helps me up to my feet. What he says makes sense, and who am I to question someone who used to be a doctor? Okay, alright, so you were. Great, fantastic. Why are you a butler, then, now? I'm just tired, that's it. Long day of moving, the interview, dealing with Luke, that has all drained me of any proper sense.
Yes, I suppose you're right. I just need some sleep, that's all.
Of course I'm right. Go on then. Gute Nacht.
Gute Nacht to
Good
you,
night, dear
sir.
Hans. Good night, house.
It's just fatigue. That's what I keep telling myself, although I can't ignore the strange feeling in my gut. Either there is something wrong with this house, or there is something wrong with my head. Sleep will be elusive tonight. Trying to think how long we're going here. Let's go just a tiny bit more. Luke is already gone by the time I rise. There isn't a single hide nor hair of him to be found, and trying to call him on his mobile is a bust, as it only goes straight to his voicemail. That's twice in a row he's gone on me. And for him to disappear today, of all days, is every bit upsetting because of what's to come. Is today the party? Is it party day? The morning is once again filled with a whirlwind of activity. Fortunately, I am much more refreshed as I took a break from my responsibilities. I haven't the faintest clue where Luke was yesterday. Today is going to be a busy day, although unlike Wednesday, the master of the house isn't here right now, absent once again from his duties. So did we go forward 2 days? Okay. Hopefully, he'll be back in time for the party. Oh, it is party day! This is our house, after all. A grand housewarming party for the wonderful Wright Mansion. Every person of importance from Luxbourne is invited. There will be a few guests flying in as well. Of course, there will be some people from the media, along with friends and acquaintances who are made no less important, regardless of their status in society. Marianne and I discuss business and last-minute touches to the house before finalizing everything. Not that there is much change from our original plans. Bar any huge additions to the property itself, the mansion is nearly 100% complete.
You have certainly exceeded expectations, Marianne. Everything looks so marvelous, and in such a short time, too.
Well, I can't take all of the credit. People have certainly been enthusiastic about the idea of working on the right mansion.
Who wouldn't just leap at that
There
opportunity?
won't be any more problems unless Mr. Wright has any more objections about the second bedroom.
Not if I have anything to say about it. Luke and I had a small tiff about making the second bedroom into a child's playroom, which I insisted is completely practical. In the end, he had to acquiesce. I didn't give him any choice in the matter. I even bought this wonderful wooden crib from the antique store yesterday, including some toys. Just in case anyone brings their baby, of course. I'm starting to think Hannah really wants kids. Besides, we have little need for actual guest rooms. We hardly have guests who spend the night. If we absolutely have to, we often choose to foot the bill for their visit from one of our hotels instead, always at Luke's own insistence. And on the off chance that we actually let someone stay, the bedroom in the opposite wing is still up to the task.
Oh, no. We proceed with that room as planned. I already agreed to him having his greenhouse and his vineyard and his stables. He may as well let me have this one thing.
No, I did not agree to him having a helipad. Well, I would have looked pretty out of place here, I have to say.
All right, then. Well, do we have any other concerns? Anything we need to put on our agenda before the party commences?
Where are you and me at, Marianne? That's my concern.
No, I don't think so. Not unless Luke has anything else to say.
Is he around, then? It'd be best if we can note down his requests right away, considering the scope of his usual ones.
Around? No. Where is he? Who knows where? I don't.
No, he's not around.
She didn't have to point out the obvious now, did she? After 7 long years, I had already gotten used to him. I should be by now. Still not, apparently.
But don't you have a party?
I want nothing more than to complain, to whine about how unfair this is. However, airing out one's dirty laundry is simply taboo among high society. To do so will make you a ripe target for the next dinner party chit-chat. Vultures, the lot of them, really. Or most of them, at least. There are always good ones, like Rochelle Lee. When are we going to meet Rochelle? But put your trust in the wrong person, and you'll find yourself eagerly picked apart.
Yes. But Luke's just being a sweetie, you see.
A sweetie!
That friend he's visiting. He's having marital problems, and he's just trying to cheer him up.
I wonder what that's like. Perhaps I'm being a bit too rash, a bit too hot-headed in divulging details, but I thought myself clever with the plan to dress it up as gossip. Marianne's raised brow makes me unsure whether she is interested or not. Although that does make things better if she has no interest and therefore has no hidden intent to utilize whatever I might say to her.
They've been married for a long time, and they've hit a... How do they say it? A rough patch.
Again, what could this possibly be like, I wonder?
His wife has a drinking problem and can be very neglectful. The poor thing really does his best to be a good husband, but it's never enough for her. Sometimes I think it's the years. Maybe it's been so long that they've lost that romantic spark. What do you think?
You were asking for my personal opinion on the matter, ma'am? Do you want me to be honest, or...
No, I want you to lie. What? Why would I say I don't know? Yes, be honest with me.
Be honest with me, Marianne. I don't need someone
Real
to sugarcoat
talk.
it.
Real talk. Alright, Marianne likes the real talk. I mean, I don't know why she would like me saying I don't know.
I'm not some fragile thing that I'm just going to break down at the slightest thing.
She hesitates, taking a sip of her coffee while I stare into my own cup of tea. The silence stretches on, and I almost believe that she will never answer my question. I suppose that I shouldn't blame her, putting her in a tight spot like this. Her hesitation is understandable, though I loathe to admit it. She simply wants this whole thing to stay professional. But then, she speaks.
If I'm going to be completely honest, I need to ask. This is about you and Mr. Wright, isn't it?
Where would you possibly get that idea? It's my turn to hesitate now. I really didn't expect such a straightforward question. And to get to the heart of the matter? Well, I suppose I'm not as clever as I'd like to think. No, it was pretty obvious, Hannah. Or is it really that bad that an outsider can see our little marital troubles? Surely we aren't that obvious, are we? We put up the act of a perfect couple for years, although it hadn't always been an act. Marianne is just more keen than the average person, of course. Yes, of course. It's definitely not supremely obvious. It is a necessity to her career, and she's been working so closely with us. Yes, that's it.
Suppose it is. What would you tell me?
Then, I tell you it's none of my business. I tell you that I don't want to meddle.
I told you to be honest.
But if the troubled husband with the neglectful wife asked me for my honest opinion, I'd say that he shouldn't base his happiness and his self-worth on someone else.
Yeah, Marianne.
Someone who won't even give him the time of the day.
Yeah.
Maybe he should try being independent for a while. See what it's like when he isn't trying to please someone else and doing things for himself.
Heck yeah.
Everyone's supposed to be their own man or woman, right? A bit of breathing room never hurt anyone.
All right.
That's just my 2 pence worth, of course.
Hey, you know what? It's worth more than 2 pence.
So you're saying they should divorce?
That's not exactly what she said,
Nothing
but
as drastic as that. If they're afraid that it might lead to just that, then maybe that is what's meant to happen in the first place. We shouldn't let our fear control our lives, but it's just a short hiatus is all. Or, couples therapy? Look, I'm really not the best person to ask about relationships, so grain of salt and all that.
she trails off, having said her piece, and leaves nothing but the smell of coffee and Earl Grey between us. There is calm, despite the nature of what has just been discussed. To say that her words make me start to think is an understatement. To say that I'm not considering her advice is a lie. And to say that this might just be the calm before the storm is a possibility. Others have had shorter marriages, yes, but plenty have celebrated long and happy ones as well. My own parents celebrated their choral anniversary before they passed away. But 7 years? 7 years isn't a whole lot in the grand scheme of things. It isn't a whole lot of time to see what and where our relationship can bring us. Right, but if you're not happy, then at the same time, 7 years, well, hasn't been entirely made up of unhappy years, has it? It won't last forever. It's not supposed to, anyway. I just dread the thought that it might last for a very long time. I dread the thought that these small spats, these little disagreements, will turn into an all-out resentment. The idea that we will grow to hate each other with every fiber of our being scares me. I can't even pinpoint the exact moment when our blissful union turned sour. When did he start to seek other women, lacking any ulterior motives? When did we start to cooperate only to suit our materialistic greed and attention-seeking ways? Money and success, fame and glamour. Are those the only reasons we still stay together? There's a cough before Marianne clears her throat. I must have been inner monologuing for so long, and I move to apologize when she stands up. We both end up on our feet, unsure on how to proceed. Some sort of odd, awkward shuffle occurs as we decide whether to sit back down or not.
I really should handle what's left of the work.
You won't be attending the party.
But Marianne, you simply must!
Oh, you really must, Marianne.
I'll try to stay and chat. Maybe grab a few bites and a drink, but I can't be around for the entirety of the event. My apologies.
Oh, plans?
Busy, busy, busy.
Uh-huh.
You must stay a while. I'd love for you to meet some of my friends, and they're ever so excited to meet you. You need to say hello to the Lees, at least. If it wasn't for them, I'd never even heard of you.
We'll see.
Yeah, I had forgotten about that. I wonder what the deal with that connection is.
So, if I can be excused?
Certainly.
Yeah, get out of here.
You'll have to excuse me as well. I must attend to the party before any early birds arrive, because believe me, they will throw a fuss if things aren't ready, even when they're not supposed to be here until an hour later.
All right. Wow, that is going to have to do it for today then. We will throw our grand party and probably have some chaos or nonsense. Oh, what a nice picture, Marianne. Some sort of chaos and nonsense that goes with it next time. Until then, this has been Downstage Gaming. I have been your host, Josh, and I will see you all next time.